In this lesson, we'll talk about a couple of navigation tips that can help you work a little bit faster in ZBrush. So let's open up our dragon here. The first thing we'll talk about is the quick menu, and this can be accessed very quickly by hitting our spacebar. And this just contains a lot of the different things that we might want to select. So we can come in here and select a tool. We can come in and select a different brush if we want to. Okay. And it contains it all in the same spot, so we don't really have to move our mouse around that much. So wherever our mouse is, that quick menu is going to go ahead and open it up. Now it's going to stay open as long as I hold my spacebar down, and it allows me to go in and change some different settings here. Change the focus shift, change the draw size, change the brush. A lot of information in a single spot, which can really speed up your workflow. Okay, and this can be accessed also under preferences, down under miscellaneous. There's the quick menu here. Okay, now we also have something turned on, and so if we go into navigation, you can see we have enable right click pop-up. So aside from using the spacebar, I can also hold down the right mouse button, and that will bring up the quick menu as well. So just clicking the right mouse button. Now if I turn that off, that's not going to do that. So make sure that you, if you want to use that, that you have that turned on. Now right above this enable right click pop-up for our quick menu is right click navigation. And what this will do is allow you to orbit and move around in your scene without having to click here at an open spot, without using your left mouse button. So if you go in really tight, for instance, you start to work up closely in here, it can start to get a little bit odd when you're trying to move around, because when you move around inside here, let me go ahead and get the body selected here, and let me get a standard brush. So if I come in and I start to want to move around, I'm actually painting on the surface. Now there is an area that's safe outside here. You see this little line right around here. We can come in here and start to rotate around, but it's going to rotate around that point. We can also Alt left mouse button to move around. Okay, and then Alt, and then release Alt and move in and out. But if we turn on right-click navigation, we can actually use our right mouse button within our canvas anywhere to actually do those things. So Alt, right mouse button, and then release Alt will allow us to zoom in from a particular area. Okay, just holding down the right mouse button and moving around, I can rotate around the center here rather than on the side. And I'm not having to sculpt in here. Okay. And then Alt right mouse button, and I can move the object around. So it might just be a little bit quicker versus coming in over here and trying to rotate it around in certain areas. You can use the right mouse button to rotate it a very specific area and not have to worry about getting into an open spot of the canvas or even getting into this safe area on the sides. Okay, and not having to worry about accidentally painting on your mesh. You can zoom in and out, rotate around, move around, all with your right mouse button, leaving your left mouse button available to do all of your painting and sculpting, so you don't have to worry about going into those different areas. Okay, again, a lot of these are really small things that don't really save a lot of time, but in the long run they'll add up. When you're working on a long project, they'll start to add up, and you'll find that your projects are going a little bit faster just because you're not having to go to different areas. You're not having to, rotate around so much and using, trying to find an open space, or even coming in here and rotating around a spot you may not be wanting to rotate around. You can just come in here just with a couple of moves of your fingers, rotate around, and then you can begin sculpting in here. Okay, so hopefully these things will add up. All of these little tips and tricks will add up and create a net kind of decrease in the time it takes for you to complete your projects. That's the goal anyway. So the next thing we want to talk about is actually using the Subtool Master. And this is something that is, I think, really valuable. It does a lot of things, and it can speed up a lot of the things that you want to do with your subtools when you're working with those. So we'll take some time in the next lesson to take a look at that.